A General Dictionary of the English Language. By Samuel Johnson. Master of Arts. First published in 1755, in 2 volumes. Letter A. From ablactate, to abolish. To ablactate. Verb active. Ablacto, Latin. To wean, from the breast. Ablactation. Noun substantive. One of the methods of grafting. And, according to the signification of the word. As it were a weaning of a scion, by degrees from, its mother stock. Not cutting it off, wholly from the stalk. Till, it is firmly united to, that on, which it is grafted. Ablaquiation. Ablaquiatio, Latin. The act, or practice of opening the ground. About the roots of trees, to let the air and water operate upon them. Trench the ground, and make it ready for the spring. Prepare also soil, and use it where you have occasion. Dig borders. Uncover, as yet roots of trees. Where ablaquiation is requisite. John Evelyn's Calendar. The tenure-in-chief ought to be kept alive and nourished. The which, as it is the very root, that doth maintain this silver stem, that by many rich and fruitful branches spreadeth itself into the chancery, exchequer, and court of wards. So, if it be suffered to starve, by want of ablaquiation, and other good husbandry, not only this yearly fruit will much decrease from time to time, but also the whole body and boughs of that precious tree itself will fall into danger of decay and dying. Francis Bacon's Office of Alienation. Ablation. Noun substantive. Ablatio, Latin. The act of taking away. Ablative. Noun adjective. Ablativus, Latin. 1. That which takes away. 2. The 6th case of the Latin nouns. The case which, among other significations, includes the person from whom something is taken away. A term of grammar. Able. Adjective. Habil, French. Habilis, Latin. Skillful, ready. 1. Having strong faculties, or great strength, or knowledge. Riches, or any other power of mind, body, or fortune. He was not afraid of an able man, as Louis XI was. But contrariwise, he was served by the ablest men that were to be found, without which his affairs could not have prospered as they did. Francis Bacon's Henry VII. Such other gamble faculties he hath, that shew a weak mind and an able body. For the which, the prince admits him. For the prince himself is such another. The weight of an hair will turn the scales. William Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 2. 2. Having power sufficient, enabled. All mankind acknowledge themselves able and sufficient to do many things, which actually they never do. Robert South's Sermons. Every man shall give as he is able, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee. Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 17. 3. Before a verb, with the participle to. It signifies, generally having the power. Before a noun, with for, it means qualified. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous. But who is able to stand before envy? Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 4. There have been some inventions, also, which have been able for the utterance of articulate sounds, as the speaking of certain words. John Wilkins's Mathematical Magic. To able. Verb active. To make able, to enable, which is the word commonly used. See enable. Plate sin with gold, and the strong lance of justice hurtless breaks. Arm it with rags, a pygmy's straw doth pierce it. None does offend, none, I say none. All able them. Take that of me, my friend, who have the power to seal the accuser's lips. William Shakespeare's King Lear. Able-bodied. Adjective. Strong of body. It lies in the power of every fine woman to secure at least half a dozen able-bodied men to His Majesty's service. Joseph Addison's Freeholder, No. 4. To ablagate. Verb active. Ablego, Latin. To send abroad, upon some employment. Also, to send a person out of the way that one is weary of. Dictionary. Ablagation. Noun substantive. From ablegate. Ascending abroad, or out of the way. Dictionary. Ableness. Noun substantive. From able. Ability of body, vigor, force. That nation doth so excel, both for comeliness and ableness, that from neighbor countries they ordinarily come, some to strive, some to learn, some to behold. Sir Philip Sidney, Book 2. Ablepsy. Noun substantive. Ablepsia, Greek. Want of sight, natural blindness. Also unadvisedness. Dictionary. Abligurition. Noun substantive. Abliguratio, Latin. A prodigal, spending on meat and drink. Dictionary. To ablagate. Verb active. Abligo, Latin. To bind, or tie up from. Dictionary. To ablocate. Verb active. Abloco, Latin. To let out, to hire. Perhaps, properly by him who has hired it from another. John Calvin's Lexicon Juridicum. Ablocation. Noun substantive. From ablocate. A letting out, to hire. To ablude. Verb neuter. Abludo, Latin. To be unlike. Dictionary. Abluent. Adjective. Abluens, Latin. From abluo, to wash away. 1. That which washes clean. 2. That which has the power of cleansing. Dictionary. Ablution. Noun substantive. Ablutio, Latin. 1. The act of cleansing, or washing clean. There is a natural analogy between the ablution of the body and the purification of the soul. Between eating the holy bread and drinking the sacred chalice. And a participation of the body and blood of Christ. Jeremy Taylor's Worthy Communicant. Washed by the briny wave, the pious train are cleansed and cast the ablutions in the main. Alexander Pope's Iliad. 2. The rinsing of chemical preparations in water to dissolve and wash away any acrimonious particles. 3. The cup given without consecration to the laity in the popish churches. To abnegate. Verb active. From abnego, Latin. To deny. Abnegation. Noun substantive. Abnegatio, Latin. Denial, from abnego, to deny. Denial, renunciation. The abnegation, or renouncing of all his own holds and interests and trusts of all that man is most apt to depend upon, that he may the more expeditely follow Christ. Henry Hammond's Practical Catechism. Abnodation. Noun substantive. Abnodatio, Latin. The act of cutting away knots from trees. A term of gardening. Dictionary. Abnormus. Adjective. Abnormus, Latin. Out of rule. Irregular, Misha Pen. Dictionary. Aboard. Adverb. A sea term. But adopted into common language. Derived immediately from the French à board. As aller à board. Envoyer à board. Board is itself a word of very doubtful original. And perhaps, in its different acceptations, deducible from different roots. Board, in the ancient Saxon, signified a house. In which sense, to go aboard is to take up residence in a ship. In a ship. Which, when far off, Simacles heard and saw. He loudly called to such as were aboard the little bark unto the shore to draw, and him to ferry over that deep ford. Edmund Spenser's Faerie Queene, Book 2, Canto 6. I made this answer, that he might land them, if it pleased him, or otherwise keep them aboard. Sir Walter Raleigh's Essays. When morning rose, I sent my mates to bring supplies of water from a neighboring spring, whilst I the motions of the winds explored. Then summoned in my crew and went aboard. Joseph Addison's Ovid's Metamorphoses, Book 3. Abode. Noun substantive. From abide. 1. Habitation, dwelling, place of residence. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me. Second Book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 27. Others may use the ocean as their road. Only the English make it their abode, whose ready sails with every wind can fly, and make a covenant with the inconstant sky. Edmund Waller. 2. Stay, continuance in a place. Sweet friends, your patience for my long abode. Not I, but my affairs have made you wait. William Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice. Making a short abode in Sicily the second time. Landing in Italy and making the war. May be reasonably judged the business but of 10 months. John Dryden's Dedication to the Aeneid. The woodcock's early visit and abode. Of long continuance in our temperate clime. Foretell a liberal harvest. Ambrose Phillips. 3. To make abode. To dwell, to reside, to inhabit. Deep in a cave, the Sibyl makes abode. Thence, full of fate returns, and of the god. John Dryden's Aeneid 6. To abode. Verb active. See bode. To foretoken, or foreshow. To be a prognostic, to be ominous. It is taken, with its derivatives, in the sense either of good or ill. Every man, after the hideous storm that followed, was a thing inspired, and, not consulting, broke into a general prophecy that this tempest, dashing the garment of this peace, abode the sudden breach of it. William Shakespeare's Henry VIII. Abodement. Noun substantive. From to abode. A secret anticipation of something future. An impression upon the mind of some event to come. Prognostication, omen. I like not this. For many men that stumble at the threshold are well foretold that danger lurks within. Tush. Man, abodements must not now affright us. William Shakespeare's Henry VI, Part 3. My Lord Bishop, being somewhat troubled, took the freedom to ask him whether he had never any secret abodement in his mind. No, replied the Duke. But I think some adventure may kill me, as well as another man. Isaac Walton. To abolish. Verb active. From abolio, Latin. To blot out. 1. To annul. For us to abolish what he hath established were presumption most intolerable. Richard Hookers, Book 3, Section 10. On the Parliament's part, it was proposed that all the bishops, deans, and chapters might be immediately taken away and abolished. Edward Hyde, Earl of Clarendon's History, Book 8. 2. To put an end to destroy the long-continued wars between the English and the Scots had then raised invincible jealousies and hate, which long-continued peace hath since abolished. Sir John Hayward. That shall, Pericles, well requite, I wot, and, with thy blood, abolish so reproachful blot. Faerie Queene, Book 2, Canto 4, stanza 45. More destroyed than they, we should be quite abolished and expire. John Milton's Paradise Lost, Book 2, line 92. Or wilt thou thyself abolish thy creation and unmake for him what for thy glory thou hast made? Edom, Book 3, line 163. Fermented spirits contract, harden, and consolidate many fibers together, abolishing many canals, especially where the fibers are the tenderest, as in the brain. John Arbuthnot, on aliments. Nor could Vulcanian flame the stench abolish, or the savour tame. John Dryden, Virgil, Georgics, Book 3. Next page begins with abolishable. Original source text is in the public domain. This audio recording, including AI-assisted narration, restoration, and editorial structure is copyrighted 2026 by Musafolios. All rights reserved. Ablactate. 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 Ablactation. 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 Ablaquiation. 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 Ablation. 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 Ablative. 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 Able. 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 Able-bodied. 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 Abligate. 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 Abligation. 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 Ableness. 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 Ablepsy. 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 Abligurition. 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 Abligate. 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 Ablocate. 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 Ablocation. 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 Ablude. 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 Abluent. 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 Ablution. 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 Abnegate. 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 Abnegation. 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 Abnodation. 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 Abnormous. 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 Aboard. 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 Abode. 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 Abodement. 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 Abolish. Abolish. Abolish.